Welcome to worship with the Unitarian Universalist community of Charlotte. I'm Eve Stevens, one of the ministers of this congregation. And whether you're a member or a first-time guest, so grateful you can be with us this morning. Our theme for this congregational year is becoming the community we want to be, barriers, boundaries, and belonging. We continue to explore as a community how our shared values demand a deeper look at how we live our lives. Our shared values point us in a direction and send us on a journey that requires our collective creativity, courage, and resilience. Today's service is a collaborative effort. A handful of our community's young adults have come together to reflect on becoming the people we want to be. Do our lives reflect our values? Where can we find a sense of belonging that brings us more alive? This morning, we offer reflection from our phase of life, living these questions from young adulthood. That time between adolescence and middle age. Careers, relationships, and our sense of home still very much in formation. Of course, we know, all of us, whatever our age on this journey to becoming the people we want to be, as Unitarian Universalist minister Richard Gilbert puts it, from beckoning birth to dawning death, we are in process, all of us. We are living our questions together as we journey toward who we want to be individually and collectively. Welcome, members and guests. I invite you to head to our public Facebook page to exchange greetings with one another in real time.
The Unison Prayer of Confession by Harry Meserve.
From arrogance, pompousness, and from thinking ourselves more important than we are, may some saving sense of humor liberate us.
For allowing ourselves to ridicule the faith of others, may we be forgiven.
For making war and calling it peace, special privilege and calling it justice, indifference and calling it tolerance, pollution and calling it progress, may we be cured.
For telling ourselves and others that evil is inevitable while good is impossible, may we stand corrected.
God of our mixed up, tragic, aspiring, doubting, and insurgent lives, help us to be as good in our hearts as we have always wanted to be.
We light this chalice as a symbol of these ideals and as a symbol of our liberating faith.
Our reading is by Rainer Maria Rilke from his book, Letters to a Young Poet. Be patient toward all that is unsolved in your heart, and try to love the questions themselves, like locked doors and like books that are now written in a very foreign tongue. Do not now seek the answers which cannot be given you because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps you will then gradually, without noticing it, live along some distant day into the answer.
With what I'm sure is a healthy dose of nostalgia and perhaps a bit of a myopic view centered on my current stage of life, I remember it being relatively simple to find and form meaningful friendships when I was younger. In childhood, on up through high school and college, I was seemingly blessed with options, surrounded by hundreds or even thousands of people of a similar age and in a similar place in life. Perhaps most importantly, my criteria for choosing my friends seemed straightforward and uncomplicated. Did I, as an individual person, share enough common interests and a general worldview with this other person that it was worthwhile to spend my time with them? As I've gotten older and my life has changed, as it continues to change, friendship changes too. Not just my friendships, but my definition of friendship itself. No longer am I surrounded by that same abundance of people with similar interests and experiences, and no longer am I making decisions with only myself in mind. My marriage, my children, my career, these things have added new layers, new dimensions, new complexities to my personal formula of friendship. They continually shift and evolve how I evaluate friendships, the ones I'm starting to form, as well as those I already have. The questions aren't simply, do we both enjoy playing soccer, or listening to electronic music, or reading science fiction. Those considerations still exist, of course, but have been joined by others like, do our spouses enjoy spending time together? Do we have similar parenting styles? Does this friendship have the potential to help me grow? Help me set a good example for my children? Help me become the person I want to be? And as I explore the answers to this new group of questions, I find yet another set staring back at me. These are more internal, self-reflective. I have to ask myself, what am I willing to sacrifice for the sake of friendship? What am I able to sacrifice? If I'm able to bond with another person over a shared interest in art, can I overlook our differing political viewpoints? If we enjoy playing Dungeons and Dragons together, does it matter if we don't see eye to eye on how best to raise our respective children? Do I ignore or accept those things in my search for friendship and belonging? And if I do, am I surrendering a piece of my identity or my chance at the personal growth I desire? Or are those differences actually an opportunity, a chance to learn and grow, both for myself and for my friends? I contemplate these questions, but I realize that there are never going to be any easy answers attached to them. I realize that even when I come to what seems like an answer, that's precisely when I'll need to start asking these questions all over again. Because the variables in the formula of friendship are ever changing. Because my friendships, my friends, and myself are all in constant flux. Because in the end, one part of the person I want to become might be being someone who never stops trying to discover the person they want to become.
Hi, my name is Colton Snyder. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm 29 years old. Young adulthood is a period of uncertainty and transitions. For nearly 15 years, we go through a formal education system only to, at the end, be thrown into a sea of possibilities and responsibilities. How we navigate this experience ultimately shapes who we'll become. Some of life's most important decisions occur during young adulthood. Decisions like what careers to pursue, what relationships to commit to, and how to handle hardship. During my 20s, I've experienced periods of uncertainty and loneliness, both of which I'm very grateful for, as it was these experiences that prompted spiritual growth. From an early age, we are pressured to decide what we're going to do for the rest of our life. And in 7th grade, I decided I wanted to become a physical therapist. I stuck with this decision for many years, and I even achieved a bachelor's degree in exercise science and psychology. After graduating, however, I started having doubts. Is this really what I wanted to do for the rest of my life? I wasn't so sure. I went from feeling secure to having no idea what I wanted to do, and this prompted a period of soul searching. Ultimately, I sought help. I ended up seeing a career counselor who helped me reconnect with my work values. I love to help people, and I became more aware that one of the most important aspects in human life is the ability to connect with others and find a sense of belonging. This led me to the field of speech-language pathology. Speech-language pathologists help people of all ages develop or rebuild the ability to connect and communicate with others. After receiving my master's degree, I can now proudly say that I've been an SLP for almost 2 years. I help children and adolescents connect with family and friends, breaking down barriers, and find a sense of belonging. If I didn't embrace my doubts and uncertainties about my career decisions, I wouldn't be where I am today. In addition to work, young adults are navigating relationships. In my early 20s, I underwent a painful breakup. It was a codependent relationship. Afterwards, I felt afraid, sad, and lonely. These negative emotions encouraged me to find peace and happiness through Buddhism, self-compassion, and mindfulness meditation. I didn't know it at the time, but this was perhaps the most significant period of spiritual growth for me. I learned to sit with and acknowledge my negative emotions rather than suppress them or distract myself from them. I was comforted knowing that these emotions were impermanent. They weren't going to be there forever. And I accepted them as a part of the human experience. They're something that we all go through. All humans experience painful emotions from time to time, and often they are exactly what is needed. When I allowed myself to feel lonely, I was reminded that I needed other people. My loneliness helped me find my most meaningful relationships. Young adults often experience uncertainty and isolation, and how we decide to navigate this landscape may profoundly impact our sense of belonging in society. Thank you.
I invite you to breathe deeply with me now and to clear a space in the cluttered landscape of your mind, all these worries and excitements from the week ahead and the week that's just passed, vying for your attention. Tell them to wait just a moment. Take this time, treat yourself to relaxing your shoulders, to deepening your breath, maybe closing your eyes so you can better take in these warm and nourishing words from Unitarian Universalist minister Richard Gilbert. In the midst of the whirling day, in the hectic rush to be doing, in the frantic pace of life, pause here for a moment. Catch your breath, relax your body, and loosen your grip on life. Consider that our lives are always unfinished business. Imagine that the picture of our being is never complete. Allow your life to be a work in progress. Do not hurry to mold the masterpiece. Do not rush to finish the picture. Do not be impatient to complete the drawing. From beckoning birth to dawning death, we are in process, and always there is more to be done. Do not let the incompleteness weigh on your spirit. Do not despair that imperfection marks your every day. Do not fear that we are still in the making. Let us instead be grateful that the world is still to be created. Let us give thanks that we can be more than we are. Let us celebrate the power of the incomplete, for life is always unfinished business. Amen.
Good morning. I'm Kendra Dixon, a member of this congregation. Not so long ago, my family and I were looking for a spiritual community to be the village to support us as we raise our children and to help us model what it looks like to live a meaningful, justice-oriented life. If you are visiting with us today for the first time or have returned after experiencing our services for a few weeks, welcome. I'm glad your search for spiritual community has led you here. You can explore the opportunities we offer to learn and connect with others through our website. If you have questions, would like to get to know us better, or are interested in becoming a member, you can contact our membership coordinator, Kelly Green. Her email is Kelly, Kelly, @uuccharlotte.org. If you'd like to have a conversation with either of our ministers, you can let Kelly know that as well. Again, welcome, and thank you for spending part of your morning here with us.
Again, I'm Eve Stevens, one of the ministers of this congregation, and I add my welcome to Kendra's as well. And while you're on our website exploring what we have to offer, I encourage you to subscribe to our weekly e-newsletter, Currents, for the latest opportunities for how to connect and engage with the life of this congregation. It is hard to believe But after 28 years, our beloved Director of Religious Education for Children and Youth, Kathleen Carpenter, is retiring at the end of December. Kathleen has helped our children and youth strive toward becoming the people they want to be for decades. And we're going to celebrate Kathleen with a Zoom retirement party on Friday, December 18th. So save that date, Friday, December 18th. And watch Currents for more details. There will be ways for our children and youth to honor Kathleen, as well as us to honor her as a community as a whole. We are sending love to Annie Flint as she recovers from a medical procedure at home. And we hold in our prayers Paul Cuny and Don Nias as they mourn the death of Paul's mother. And we continue to celebrate with June Blotnick her 15th anniversary as the Executive Director of Clean Air Carolina, and applaud her tireless commitment to environmental justice in the larger community and in our congregation. And the Transgender Day of Remembrance was November 20th. We are holding in collective prayer our transgender siblings and their families as they navigate experiences of discrimination and even violence in our world. We're sending love.
Everything our religious community does is only possible thanks to the pledges and donations of our generous members.
We thank them for their contributions, and if you're able to join them in giving back, please consider making a donation using the link below this video.
Let us be grateful that the world is still to be created. Let us give thanks that we can be more than we are. Your presence in this community is a blessing. Each of us harvesting what wisdom we can from this moment in our life and sharing what sustenance we can with each other. Thank you for sharing in this journey in community. Be well and reach out when you need us.